Hello and welcome to Stephen Allen Almost Daily. I'm Stephen Allen and this is a day. What more do you flipping want? Welcome along to the Thursday, I think I'm right in saying, the Thursday version of this, which is in theory more well prepared than the Friday one. In practice, it's always the day after I've been up late doing the old telly box. I don't go on crazy late these days. I'm only on until midnight because I think I said something anti-Trump and I don't seem to be invited onto the Late Show anymore. And welcome along. So if you've never watched one of these before, fair enough. Good life choices. But also welcome along here. You can, of course, get involved in the chat. Let's see what's happening up here. I can go a bit further back than what you can see on there because we do need to say. So Charlotte is heading into hospital. You're about to be put under anaesthetic. Is that what's happening here? I believe that's how the Spanish say it, Joodles. Anaesthetic. And what's happening there? What you having done? What are you, when you wake up, are you going to be all right? Do we have to call you Charles? I mean, see what's happening. Joodles is on holiday, so watching this from Spain, where I believe they pronounce it anaesthetic. When I went to the dentist last week before, I was pronouncing it anaesthetic because of the anaesthetic. In case you're right there. Although weirdly, after all of my moaning, the week before, or a couple of weeks before, when I went to the dentist and then did a show, when I looked like Helen Daniels during the stroke scene, right? And it's not often the stroke scene isn't sexual when I'm talking about it, but not with Helen Daniels though. So I did a show like this, right? When I did the reverse Prince Andrew, had the crown reinstalled, no anaesthetic. So I probably could have done the show, but as you knew, I'd lost my voice. Faff. No one wants to see me do mime. Right, let's have a look. Nothing too serious, says Charlotte. I'm having surgery on my throat. What are you having done? Reinforced? Widened? What's... Good luck, says Joodles. To make you sound like Jason Statham. You are not a salmon. If you wake up sounding like that, will that harm your career or will it improve you? It's very difficult to know, isn't it? Very difficult to know. I'm not even sure it helps Jason Statham's career. Are you still enjoying the sun, says Mr. Cuffs to Joodles. I didn't want to mention it, but we had lovely sun here. Isn't it terrible when you go on holiday and the place you've just left actually has good weather for once? Although let's have a look at my little outside cam. This monitor over here has a little webcam thing pointing. I'm not showing you that. You get access to a lot of cameras, but you're not seeing the one that monitors the house. Weirdos. It's actually quite sunny out there. And what is the sun you speak of, says Ems. Of course, Ems is in both Middlesbrough, so she's so far north she doesn't see the sun, and also in prison, which means you don't see the sun. In a faraway land, Ems, just trying to persuade it to come home with me. No, it won't, will it? Even if it would, it gets stuck at border control. At least something gets stuck at the border, eh? You are not a salmon. Hang on. Charlotte says, the funny thing is my doctor is called Steve. It's not me, but you've never seen us in the room at the same time, which would be a weird appointment if you did. Ems, don't let him get you up on that on the car thing and do the twofer. Why not? She's having the throat done. This is the perfect time to have anything below the throat done. It is efficient. What is wrong with people and not having their efficiency? Get up on the ramp, on the throat, and get yourself. You should get checked. You know what I mean? They should get the. Do they call it a speculum? Whatever that is, it sounds like a thing. It sounds like a Harry Potter spell, doesn't it? If you saw Harry Potter giving it some speculum patronus. Now I've said patronus, it sounds like a drink. Speculum patronus. 2, please, and a white wine spritzer. Grok says that 0.5... I have no idea why we do this. Grok says 0.54% of the UK population is called Steve. Jules, thanks for that. I don't know what to do with that data. Is that a lot or not? I need a graph. Is it a really common name? There were 4 Steves in my class at school, but I think it's a generational thing. And certainly the class at school was, almost by definition. Mr. Cuffs, Joodles, are you the one in the left or the right on that thumbnail? So look. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this story pretty soon. Epstein update. We've got a jingle for that. Hang on. Epstein update. It's easy just to find it on here.
Epstein update.
I bet he served speculum patronus on that island. Let's have a look. Neither my bikini is white, which is obviously an immutable characteristic. There's quite a lot in the chats before we've even started. Should we do more of this in a bit? It's up and running. Hang on. Thank God my surgery is at 2, so I'm not going to miss this. Fair enough, but also priorities. This is available on the internet afterwards. Oh, and speaking of which, Proper Memes, thanks for the lovely thumbnail, which I'm sure won't get me sued at all. Said, was it last week's show? The shows that I did were watched by 900 people or something like that. Even I'm going to have to ask Grok why that happened. That don't seem right. Why are they watching this? Is that because they think they might have a look at the camera that shows you my back garden? They're all criminals. Anyway, welcome along. Let's get stuck into it. You can go to the chat and have your say as well. Get some comment in there. I am sweating in this shed. Sweet mercy, it's warm in here. Let's crack off with this. Front pages. Oh, it's warm. I'd open it up. I don't want to go too... Is that too much? Too much chest murking for you? Before we crack on, Joodle says, speculum is a word that will strike fear into any woman. Thanks for that. You're welcome. Don't blame me. Blame J.K. Rowling. Is that how we got here? I thought you were going to say strikes fear into the heart of a woman, and I think if it's in your heart, they've gone too far. Back it up. So, more on that story later. Let's start off with the front pages. Reeves. Andrew must pay back any misused taxpayer money. Now, we talked about this on the old TV thing last night, and there was some interesting points made about who should pay it. I can't help but think this shows how knackered we are financially, where the Chancellor of the Exchequer is trying to get back that 75 quid for the old R&T, the old rub and tug. We were talking about languages, and I was trying to refer to it as the old bon fan. That sounds good, doesn't it? Hey, have a bon fan. I'm sure that's not how you do it, because they don't have their descriptive adjectives before the nouns, do they? Weird. The fan de bon. But it's a trade droll fan. No, that can't be right. They're doing it wrong. Fair enough. But the only problem is it wouldn't come from him anyway. You can fine Andrew all you like, and somehow, being born into a royal family, which is quite the head start in life, he's still somehow got nothing. So this guy, born into a royal family, managed to get jobs that included being like an envoy. I don't even know what that is. Sounds French, like a bon van. That's why he was off getting his old French bon vans. And didn't even pay for his old R&Ts. It's like a G&T, but it's better. And can also include ice, I believe. The solid water, not the enforcement agency. I'm on tangent fest today, aren't I? I can't keep a thought in my head without finding cider issues. The point is, born into a royal family, didn't have to pay for his house, managed to get a job as well, and yet somehow he's out of money? How? I had none of those, and yet definitely could afford to pay my own 75 quid R&T if I needed to. How has he got no money? Oh, that's right. He gave £12 million to someone who accused him of something he says he didn't do. No, I mean, look, if you're not great with money, then that's going to happen. I think, and I don't want to speak for Martin Lewis here from moneysavingexpert.com, but one top tip would be don't pay £12 million to people for doing things you've not done, if you've not done them. You're up to date. Right, that's that story. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. In fact, you know what? Maybe it links in here to do the Stephen Hawking thing linked to it, because, you know, it's Epstein related, isn't it? And as you see from this, did you see the picture with it? That's Professor Stephen Hawking in the middle. Oh, it looks like me, but easy to confuse as we're both great at physics. But that story was on the internet, and I did some sort of terrible joke saying, it's another physicist having a crack at the three-body problem. That's Newtonian, isn't it? Your Lagrangian fans aren't finding that funny, but your Newton fans, oh yeah. But this is what we need for this one. So there's the story. And Professor Stephen Hawking was seen grinning from ear to ear. To be fair, what else was he going to do? No, I don't want to get cancelled for these, but you know what I mean? As he sat between two bikini-clad women in a photo on in the Jeffrey Epstein files. And there are some pictures that you see where you just think to yourself, fair play, lad. Yeah, go on. Because there's no way part 2 of this story is, and he touched me and I couldn't fend him off. So it's not the same, is it? It's category-wise, it's different to the other pictures that we've seen. Former Prince Andrew playing whatever kind of weird twister without even putting the mat down with whoever was redacted in that one looked a bit dodge. Hands everywhere. Professor Stephen Hawking's hands were where the bikini-clad women had put them. I don't want to be harsh. There's no way to get through this without getting in as much trouble as I did about the BAFTA thing, but, you know. All right. This is a safe space to say things. You know, during those years when people said, the problem with the Daleks is, if you really just want to get away from them, just go up some stairs. Yeah? Okay. But, however, there is a plot twist. The plot thickens. Oh, also some jokes about black holes. The plot thickens. Many suspect the bikini-clad women in the picture to be long-term carers of the quantum mechanics maestro, who had been suffering from... Yeah, we know that bit. So actually, look, if you thought the ladies here were just two hot pieces of totty that Professor Stephen Hawking just spent some time with on an island, no. These are hot pieces of totty he spent time with all the time. No? Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I would high-five him if it weren't for... He's dead and couldn't high-five, so I don't even know why he brought it up. Feels like a really weird thing to suggest. So anyway, I think we're fully up to date on that story. Let's see what's happening. Speculate, we've already done that one. Ooh, a flash, says Charlotte. With the old... Get the cleave out, treat yourself. It is a bit warm in here. If you don't mind. If you don't mind awfully. I'm going to pop the aircon on. 20 degrees should do it, shouldn't it? The camera shot's high enough. You're not going to see any of the old... Afternoon, says hi-ho Kermit. Yeah, we'll have a word with you. Picking on my keyboard later. Easy to confuse Hawking and Steve. Well, we're both Steves. As last week, they both sounded like, harsh. But you know what? If I could have done the show using a voice generator thing, it would have been a lot easier. We're both Steves. We're both excellent at physics. If we did like a physics competition now, I'd win. Back in the day, I'd probably lose. But we're both great at physics. We're both called Steve. We both spend a lot of time lying down doing nothing next to women in bikinis. Hang on. Didn't always think all of these through. His car has carers. Well, look, if ever there's someone, Ems, who when he went to the doctors would be up on the ramps, you made me do that one. I feel that's not even my fault. Always R&B PM. That means something different to me. I have no idea what that means. And that chat censorship Epstein comment, I'm not surprised. I wish I'd have censored some of my own Epstein material in this show already. Already. The more I watch back these videos, I don't know why I try and dress up like Harold Lloyd to do a Ronnie Corbett impression. Maybe I need to buy more of these. Let's get cracking. Oh, no, we've got to go back into the flipping front pages. We've barely even moved. Harry and Meghan's not the royal tour. Fair play. The royals are busy. They've got a lot on their plate. Speaking of royals, look at this. Look at this. Paddington meets the new Queen 2.0. The Queen in the West End met Paddington. Paddington meets a lot of queens. Has Paddington got a quilf thing? Is he into quilfs? Even though she's technically the queen consort, so it'd be that wouldn't work. He'd probably rather not. We're up to date on that one. What's going on here? What's going on? What's happening? WEF CEO Borge Brenda steps down due to Epstein ties. Fair enough. My comment was also disappeared. Was your comment left in a cell on its own with a security tape, which obviously no security camera is going to film all the minutes of an hour? Is that what happened? Who else is here? We're all up to date. Back into some of these. Just say non. Don't reward French for boat failure. They're not going to have a Bond fan, are they? This is the fact that we give France a lot of money, and it was something like 34% of the crossings were stopped by the French, which is not a lot. But given that the French were probably on strike for most of that time, it's also still not a lot. But there is a chance that all the people that they stopped crossing just crossed again the next day. And if they were stopped, then crossed again the next day. And then if they eventually come over here, we'd send them back in return for someone. There is no way that mathematically any of this works out. So it's just, I think we're funding France. You're welcome. Bon welcome. Hooray for Harold Lloyd, says Hi-Ho Kermit. We really aim a certain demographic. I'm pulling in the young people. This is what's happening. Proper memes, message retracted. You're censoring yourself. Where do we get to? Is Prince of Darkness up to his old spin tricks? Isn't it fun that the two people who've been linked to Epstein, well, three if you include Professor Stephen Hawking, and you don't, for all the reasons that I outlined, it's just not the same, is it? That he couldn't keep his hands off me. Well, that's your fault for... I feel like I'm being harsh, but it is just a practical reality that the same level of threat was not there. But you got your Mandelson, you got your Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and only one of them gets called Prince in the newspapers now. Isn't that nice? It's nice. It's nice. You must be Andrew reading the papers going like, Prince of Darkness. Why, Yoda. BAFTA row John blamed the BBC. Don't ask him what BBC stands for. He's right. We've talked about this. If you go to my substack.com/@Mr. Stephen Allen, I think I explain all of the logic we tried to cover last time in the show. I think it's there. I was chatting with someone in the Jeeves studio last night. The only thing they added was my point about is the sound of the N-word so bad you thoroughly have to ban it forever, in which case you have to ban words that it's in, and he pointed out vinegar. I hadn't even noticed. Been saying it like a crazy rapper, left, right, and centre. What do you want on your salt and chips? Next time people say, "What do you want on your fish and chips?" I'm going to say salt and vinegar, but in the accent, just so we all start to learn where it is. You know what I mean? Good evening. And there was some other point I was going to make about that. Can't remember, but I agree with this guy because John Davison has now attacked the BBC. We think he means it. Some of the things he said about them, though. But he makes a really good point. They sat him next to a microphone. That's the kind of prank I'd do. That's not what the BBC should be doing. Due to the unique way it's funded, they shouldn't be going, can we make sure we've got a spare mic next to the Tourette's guy? Because this will be a hoot. No, you created the problem, then they failed to edit it out. We covered it on the show we did on Tuesday. It's covered on my Substack. It's covered on Plank of the Week that goes out on Talk. Friday night at 7, and we didn't get to cover it last night on GB, which is a shame because I've been very much enjoying. But they wanted to not cover it because they thought the funny part of the show, we shouldn't be that close to the N-word because it wasn't that long ago that Mark Littlewood used the other N-word, the one for minor attracted people. Oh no, there is a thing I was going to talk about. So my article on substack.com/@Mr. Stephen Allen, I write them because of my inability to write and read. My typos are terrible. I have to get the darn things proofread, and I use AI. And I normally use Copilot because that was the first one that got me. And so it knows my writing style. I've also taught Gemini my writing style as well. But Copilot wouldn't proofread that article. It started and then just went, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help about this. Basically, I got cancelled. Apparently it was too hot for Copilot. Too hot for Microsoft. Too hot for Bill Gates has to apologize for being on Child Island. He has to apologize for that, but my little logical analysis of the sounds around the BAFTA situation, no, wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Grok obviously would. Grok would have generated the picture that we could have had that described it all. All right. Right. Let's have a look. Oh, I've just dropped one. What was that doing down there? You really look like my doctor with those glasses. The what's he doing down there that he needs eye protection? Oh, no, he's not down there. He's up on the ramps, isn't he? Saying it like a crazy rapper. Yeah. What do you want on your fish and chips? As Proper Memes points out. That's exactly how I'm going to say it. Not with a hard R. Vinegar by Salt and Pepper. That's actually a really good idea for another parody song. But I will get cancelled. Pepper, yep, good point. And Proper Memes. I ain't saying, no, right. I didn't say any of this out. I'll say it in my head to see if it's going to get. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no vinegar. Actually, it rhymes, doesn't it? He couldn't. Why did the radio edit just repeat messing with no broke de broke? I don't rhyme. But like when they did the ITV edit of Die Hard and Die Hard 2, you know, they used to show a film around News at 10. They had to edit out all the swear words. This is why in the other show I think I used the phrase mother fool. Where was it that I said mother fool? That's from the ITV edit of Yippee-ki-yay, mother fool. So, yeah. They at the very least could have got someone who sounds a bit like Kanye to say vinegar. We're up to date. Let's get off this topic, shall we? Let's get off this. Are we done? Gorillas get on my wicks. Strictly star Pete Wicks, I've got a cable in front of this bit of the screen, this is why I'm doing this business, has revealed his greatest fear, that gorillas could tang over the world. Has he gone bananas? Yep. You're up to date. That's all that sorted. It's problematic in my mother tongue, says Ems. Why are you put your nah? Yeah, but as we covered, your accent turns a lot of normal words into A-grade quality swears. I don't know how you get away with it. Ems, that's how I got into this surgery. Having some reinforcements put in. Shall we do this bit?
Let's get inside the news.
Haha. I am feeling better, by the way. I'm slowly getting. I feel like I got enough energy. I did the trailer. It's weird. The last fortnight, I was just ticking on. And it was only like yesterday when I realised I got a bit more energy now. I can do the normal things that I do. I really hadn't noticed I was not firing on all my cylinders. What's this? Good news. If I'm feeling better, I really should have a shave or something, shouldn't I? It starts to look normal again. The state of my face. Desperate shop owners are locking chocolate bars in plastic boxes to ward off thieves. Let's see if this helps. Naughty. Good. So you might have seen this before, where you go into your supermarkets or whatever, and because of the level of tea leaving, people are putting things in the boxes. It used to just be razor blades because they were really expensive. And then you get cheese and instant coffee and stuff like this, where I didn't mind when you did it with the razors. Clearly I didn't. I didn't really mind in... Oh, more on that later. Didn't really mind when it was instant coffee. I ain't drinking that slop. Cheese, I do like the cheese. But now they're putting chocolate bars in. In fact, I think we have. We can go back to... who was it? It was Martin, was it? We got it. Yeah, I showed you this earlier. Martin, on Blusky Dusky, the Eastern European social media network. Chocolate kept in anti-theft boxes as shops warn it's being stolen on order. There it is. That's what we wanted to show you. The Dairy Milk Oreo, the devil's chocolate, but no need for Franken chocolate. But I like this. This gives me hope that when I'm having one of those moments of being like, I'm just going to eat chocolate, if I actually walk into a shop and see it locked up, it will make me think, they knew I was coming. They knew. Someone tipped them off. No, I shouldn't. And it will make me realise I shouldn't be mainlining chocolate like that. Good. If we're going to lock up all the foods like that, I stand a chance. Could be looking pretty slim. It's one way of shaming me. Speaking of looking pretty slim... no, it doesn't do it, does it? There you go. Oh, it's curled. Fat lot of use. Prue did not lose a pound on jabs. Prue Leith has revealed she tried weight loss injection Monjaro. You are not a salmon. for a month and did not lose a single pound. 'Cause you make cakes. You're a cake maker. That's what's going to happen, isn't it? You're Prue Leith. You spend all your time knocking out cakes. You're famous for cakes. TV cook, well, cake maker. She's a bake-off person. You're surrounded by cakes. You're surrounded by Paul Hollywood bread. And what? You didn't lose weight. TV cook decided to try the medication after it worked so well for her husband, John Playfair. Is that a name? That's a made-up name, isn't it? That's a made-up name of a character in a terrible book or someone who definitely is a cheat. That's Prue, you're about to get swindled online. He's not your real husband. He's in Nigeria. He's messaging loads of old women from the TV. Dame Prue, pictured, said her body went into starvation mode after taking the jabs. I don't think it did. No offense. Don't want to be mean. Don't want to be mean. Pressing stop on that one. Just a standard dairy milk satisfies me. Well, we're all grateful we weren't talking about fingers of fudge. A Cadbury belt, says Chris Hood. Is that something that happens in Middlesbrough? That would be slip and slide, Chris. Well, it would melt, wouldn't it? It's as useless as a chocolate belt. If only it's unlocked. Steady on. I'm going to read it over here. It's easier. I'm with my friend, and she just laughed her head off at you saying, you make cakes. 'Cause she's a cake maker. Oh, I didn't lose any weight. Andrew's here saying, greetings, Mr. Allen. Hello, Andrew. John Playfair, 360 bets. Best. Good point, Prof. Means. He should get sponsored. Rube's shirt. Yeah, right. It's like watching that scene in Spies Like Us. Doctor. Joodles got censored. I wish I knew what for. Probably something about the chocolate pocket, we all imagine. Bell, death knell. Churches turned to tech inside of traditional ringers. They're not using your traditional ringers. It's been a while since I've been near a church, and the one thing I knew about church then, don't let anyone near your ringer. But they did. And now they've changed it. Churches are turning to computerized chimes, the Stephen Hawking of the bell world, in a move that threatens to end, not just any end, bell end, of traditional bell ringing. St Sampson's in South Hill, Cornwall, no one cares then, is the latest to abandon the traditional ropes and clappers to ring peals for services. Yeah, fair enough. Wasn't there a time when like Radio 4 used to take a live feed from Big Ben for the dongs? Oh, we've invented microphone technology. Come on. Dong. When I used to work at the BBC and you used to have to take the actual pips. You couldn't just play in beep like that. Nope. Ringer. Stay there. Kermit says, ringer, I hardly know her. Come on. That's what we're here for. When I was working at the BBC, you have to take a live feed for what they're called, like G something, the actual name of them, the official Greenwich Mean Time GMP for pips. I don't know. It's not GMS, right? And you have to fade it. You have to fader that you only use of the whole mixing desk at the top of the hour. You have to fade that one up just for beep, 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 and then you can crack on with the news, right? And if you miss it, you miss it. And I always thought, why not have it on a cart? No one is genuinely setting their clock on the pips anymore. Plus on DAB, it's got a flipping delay. So what an absolute waste. Have it on a cart, play out the pips, as long as you're like, within a couple of seconds, you get away with it. And there was a weekend presenter, I can't remember her name, but missed the pips. So I thought it would be a funny thing to do into the slightly delayed news. Beep. Just do it, like you're pretending, like you're trying to wig out the woman in Tesco's when she's doing the scans. Beep. And got fired for it. Christ on a bike. Obviously, you can, if you're the BBC, you can fail to edit out the N-word. But you fake a bip. Come on, you got to have rules. You can have live streams going out from Glastonbury talking about Ian Duncan Smith or whatever he was calling for the death of. And did I misunderstand that story? But either way, beep, that'll get you in trouble. No. A bit of Master and Servant, absolute tune. Let's have a look. Campanology never really appeals to me. True. The ringing of the bells. There are other ways to dry it, aren't there? Where do we get to? This piece of paper actually has one on the other side. Beliefs related to witchcraft will now be considered by prosecutors in a crackdown on so-called honour-based abuse. The CPS to be tougher on witch torture. Feels like you should have been tough on that already. Why were you not? The new Crown Prosecution Service guidance aims to help spot dangerous practices and ensure perpetrators are dealt with regardless of their cultural context. Remember we had the conversation about my soon-to-be 4-year-old son saying, like, zombies real? Nah, of course they're not, son. A vampire's real? Nah, of course they're not, son. A witch is real? And I can't lie to you. They are, but they're just single women who got into crystals. And I'm wrong. I'm going to have to... He's going to be crying his eyes out when I tell him this. No, there's, they're real and they torture people. Is this what happens? Or do people torture the witches? The government... Hang on. Actions, witch... But that's the other witch. Which are used to control or hurt victims will be fact. Hang on, who are the bad guys here? The witches or the other ones? It's not helping me going from one page to the other. I mean, it feels like witches still aren't real, are they? Don't torture single women who are into crystals. It's not their fault that they believe that absolute BS about crystals. Do you remember when I got into some sort of online row with someone who's like, you need to educate yourself on crystals or something? Did a degree in it, love. But not the way you mean. Body centre cubic lattices, lati, whatever the plural is. I'm into that. Energy flows, not so much. X-ray crystallography, I'll give you some of that. When we used to do X-ray crystallography at the university, the machine you did it on was the Siemens. It's funny. It's always funny. When you're doing physics, where's Professor Stephen Hawking when you need him? When you're doing physics, hang on, genuinely, it will be added to by the presence of the picture of Professor Stephen Hawking here. Oh, actually, now I'm thinking I can't say it out loud. But, so, Siemens, both a brand and, I believe, a unit, whether it's an SI unit, I can't remember, but you measure something in Siemens. But also, when you do standing waves, you study... Science corner, sorry.
Science corner.
Yep. Wrong one. I want to get rid of the... I'm going to try and Google it because I realise I can't say the word. But when you do standing waves, you get a big tube and you put sand along the bottom and you make a sound note of only one frequency and you get... that the wavelength of that sound, if it's a multiple of the wavelength is the length of the tube, you'll set up a standing wave. It reinforces itself. So that there are certain bits that the sound is stronger and it moves the sound away. Brilliant to watch. But the name of the tube you do it in, does anyone know what it's called? Hang on. Always funny. Always a great A-level lesson. What are we doing today? A what tube? The last time I had that checked, I was up on a ramp in the doctor's. Right. You see, science can be fun, but only when it's words like that. If you have a very offensive surname, please invent some stuff. All right, where do we get to? Hi-ho Kermit says, were the pips sponsored by Accurist? More of a sneaking clock. Sneaking clock. Does the speaking clock still exist? I don't know, actually. The new Wicked film will be banned. It probably should be. Hang on. Mr. Cuffs. Andrew is saying to Mr. Cuffs, hi, Steve. Mr. Cuff, is your name Steve? It's like 0.5, I think it's, from my rough counting, and 0.54% of the population are called Steve, I think. Just a guess, but I'm pretty good at guessing, so feel free to check. Chris says, I'm Chris and I'm tall. Okay, this is not a dating profile thing, is it? I like Professor Steve, glasses. Yeah. I can explain to you all about how your tube works, if you like. Don't pour sand in it. If you get the wrong... so another one. Oh, yeah, Mr. Cuffs, another fellow Steve. This stream is about 12% Steve. We're overrepresented. There's going to be some kind of thing. So many Steves everywhere, but the most important one is in front of us. What, your doctor? I bet he is. Ask him about your tube. See if you can get that fixed. Why did you get so much sand in it? That would be the question. Oh, not again. Right. Steve N. all over the place. You're right, I am. I do apologise. Let's get back into some of this. Pay more. Can he fly over post clothes to avoid £30 luggage fee? I think we've probably got the story from the headline on this one. But fair enough, a Ryanair passenger dodged £30 of baggage fees by shipping her clothes via an in-post locker for £2.59. Nice. Absolutely loving it. Laura Poole, big fan of your work. Yeah, do it. Because surely then this means some pressure will be put on Ryanair to stop their ridiculous, it's only like 18 quid for the flight, but you're not allowed to bring any clothes on, including the ones you wear. You're not allowed legroom, toilets, seats, oxygen mask. You're having a laugh, aren't you? You know what I mean? They charge for all the extra things. Do you want a Twix? That's £17.50. She squeezed a month's worth of outfits into a gym bag, wrapped it in a little carrier bag, and dropped it off in a locker at Tesco Express. Great. Don't go near the chocolate. They'll think you're going to nick it. 3 days later, with a few more outfits in a cabin backpack. Yeah, well, I think this is genius. Of course, when you're a big lad like me, you can't get as many pieces of clothes into, a little bag. But, I don't have to wear that much. I could, put me in a bikini. That would have put Professor Stephen Hawking right off. Hang on, what's going on here? Chris Tall. Is that why Chris was talking about being tall? Chris Tall. How incredibly rude, Mr. And what did I do? What have I done now? I can't tell him why my tube is full. Choke on his tea. Yep. Oh, this just today's show is filth. And it's not my fault. What it is. Park sex couples jail let off gratitude. I didn't read that badly. It's just badly written, isn't it? That doesn't make any sense. A couple who had sex in front of families at a why was it their turn? In front of families at a tourist site yesterday thanked the judge who spared them jail. Fair enough. Rebecca Williams, 44, Michael Burns, bet he did, 50, were told by District Judge Jack Phil McCavity that their behaviour had been quite appalling. But they both said thank you. I bet they did. You are not a salmon. The judge, I'm basically going to read the whole damn thing because it gets down to this bit. Each must pay £454 costs and Burns complete 20 days of rehabilitation. They both did but he gets a worse sentence. Listen, I don't want to spend my life as one of those men's rights activists, but by God, some of the news makes you... How is it they both get it? It takes two to tango. Unless, I don't know what they were doing. Should we read? What are they? The judge told them, I'm certain you've been off your head being drunk, on drink. People should not have to... There's no reason why she should get a lighter sentence, is there? I suppose if she was really, lying there and not doing anything at all, maybe that's what it is. Maybe. Normally, if you spend that much time thinking of England, you'll get an additional jail sentence for putting a flag up or something. But it's wrong, isn't it? Why does she not have to get rehab? Proper memes. Burns needs the rehab after the act. Well, is that why it's called Burns? Taking extra flip-flops this is a different story, isn't it? It's like taking two surfboards. They need their own luggage tag on the conveyor. Good point. Kermie's humble brag. Where's Kermie's thing? Packing shoes is awkward for me. Size 13. Oi, oi. And get yourself banned in the park, wouldn't you? Why did he get a worse sentence? How is that not the story? It's buried down the bottom and no one's... Do I have to put it on the flipping Substack? Guard in lag fling may go to prison. Should have done it in a park. A prison officer has been warned she may face jail. That's exactly what she's going to love. For having a fling behind bars with a career criminal. Well, at least he had a career. Rosie Smith, 20. It's the same story. Why go into this again? What is it with you women that you want to have a fling with a man behind bars? I keep bringing it up, and I'm sorry, I don't have a new take on it. It's the same thing. There is something fundamentally wrong with some women, that these are the men you find attractive. It does not put people off crime. The idea of like, oh, I might get locked up, and what happens when you're in prison? Oh, these 27-year-old women want to get it on. And there was some other way I was going to insult you, but I can't remember it. Judge Julian Smith told Smith, nepotism, I'm not making you any promises. These are offences that can carry a custodial sentence. Yeah, but that's exactly what you'd want. There is literally no way to punish people who get turned on by being in prison. And it would have made a very different Shawshank, but my voice isn't ready to do the Morgan again. Plus, I'm probably going to say vinegar, and it's going to ruin it. Property games a cinch on Orange. The UK's only Monopoly world champ says buying Orange locations is the key to victory. You could grow up as well. That's the key to, like, long-term victory in this story is stop playing Monopoly. PM dig at Greens. Don't buy those properties. You're a fool to yourself, man. Buy Orange. That's the... Sir Keir Starmer. Credit where it's due. Sir Keir Starmer took a last-minute swipe at the Greens' hard drugs policy as he fights for his political life in today's... Oh, yeah, the results will be out after 10, won't they, or something. We've been going on about this for a while. The Greens have pulled an absolute blinder with some of this stuff, haven't they? No borders. Anyone who fails the migration system, the refugee, the asylum seeker system, gets to stay. Well, then just don't even have the system. I'll go as far as to say, save yourself the paperwork there. If it doesn't matter whether you're granted asylum or not granted asylum, they'll cut the backlog. I'll give them that. They want all drugs to be legalised, which is fair enough. No, might lift my day. I mean, it really cheapen how much I have to spend on the crack or the whatever else the other drugs are. They want kids to be shown how to use drugs, but some of the drugs include the blue pills, which I only ever take not for sexual reasons. I only ever take that because it's somewhere to hang the towel when you get out of the shower, isn't it? If you want to clear your sand out of your tube as well, it's handy. Stay away from the greens, says Charlotte. Get a massage. Yeah, eat your greens, something like that. But also, they want to no borders and free drugs or something like that. And they wanted to give, if you are an asylum seeker, if you're a man, you get a room in shared accommodation unless you claim that you are a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. I mean, I'm not, but for a free house, I'd attend some parties. I'd turn up to the clubs. You know what I mean? I'd blend in. I'd do my best. The nearest prison to the borough, says Ems, is called Home House. It's basically serving home. Yeah, I thought that's where you live. That's why you call it home, isn't it? Second home says it. Yeah, exactly. And Joodle says, I do Kerm's been waiting for the next instalment from Outman here. What? One, he grows that moustache. Let's find out. I missed something here, didn't I? Joodle's talking to Kurt, so I'm going to try and find hi-ho, whoop whoop. All right, well, that didn't make any sense. Yes, man, that's a good point. I should have spotted that. I didn't make sense of that one. That's probably for me not being able to read it. Greens should just move to Mexico. Like heaven to them. No borders. Drugs, yeah. But heaven is also like heaven to them because that was the club before it closed down. So you get a free house if you go there. It really feels a bold move. They're trolling us, aren't they? Saying no borders, free, universal basic income just for migrants. Not universal then. Hate to be that guy. I don't hate to be that guy. I love to be that level of pedant. You can't have a basic universal income for just some people. And you're up to date. Right. I can't wait to see who wins, though. It's going to be exciting, isn't it? This one, Proper Meme sent me this story, but it's in the newspapers as well. A finance worker accused of listening to dragon porn fantasy audiobooks at work has been awarded more than £8,000 compensation. Previously on the show, we covered the story of a guy who went for a massage, and Sakayena was, I believe, the name of the therapist. She offered him bonfin, and he was so appalled by this, he, instead of just paying for it and claiming it back on expenses like any prince would. He sued her and got £800. And I was thinking that is a nifty way to get £800 because you were offered a little bit of extra, a little bit of R&T, and you were so offended. What a money-saving tip that is. Or he has, in a sense. But that's nothing in comparison to the tenfold increase here for a woman. Boss has found mentions of a steamy book on Kirsty Coleman's private WhatsApp messages. Not that private, then one would say. She was suspended in June from thermoelectric conversation systems. Fair enough. I don't know what that is. Conversion. So you're converting your thermoelectric system. No wonder she was having to listen to dragon porn. That sounds like the most boring. I love science, and that I nearly fell asleep halfway through that job title. With the claims including accessing porn content on work devices, which is not tractors or anything, is it? Ms. Coleman, quit, and the tribunal ruled that she was unfairly dismissed. It was wrong to access her messages, private, we covered that one, and there was no evidence that the book was pornographic. Well, no, hang on, is that the problem here? By the way, Proper Means joke was excellent. I bet her ears are burning. Listening to audio books about dragon porn, that was very, very good. But it feels like the same not paying attention to your work happened if you listened to a story about dragons and the dragons never got past first base. But the thing that would have got you fired is if it was like they were checking out the tube. Do you know what I mean? Have I gone beyond the level now? I'm just thinking, do you know what? If you want to listen to an audiobook story, no, not even pictures, you get AI to draw you the pictures later. If you want to listen to a story where two dragons go at it like hammer and tongue, fair enough. Because I tell you what, no dragons were harmed in the making of that porn for so many reasons. Fill your boots. If ever I get rich enough, and by the way, please give me money on Ko-fi, to employ staff, and I came in one day and I'm like, what's in the headphones? And if the two options were, I'm just listening to Spotify or I'm just listening to two dragons absolutely railing the heck out of each other, I'd be like, all right, fair enough. Pay attention to your work. Either way. I'm listening to this. In fact, I'd rather someone be listening to an audiobook of like hot, steamy and fiery dragon sex than like someone go, this is a new podcast, you must listen to it. Must I? I'm full of all the things. Don't be, it's the TV thing I should watch, is there? You're recommending that. And it's not good until series 3. Well, I guess I'll just waste the next year and a half of my life. Thanks. I'd rather they just go, it's two dragons banging. I guess I am wrong. That's just basic income. You're right, hi-ho Kermit, because it's not universal. However, it's not even basic, is it? Because no one else, it's not. It feels extra. That was a real fire starter. Twisted, very much twisted. Thermoelectric conversion is converting heat into electric like a ground source heat plant. That's not that fancy, is it? Like a heat pump. Thermoelectric conversion. Heat and electricity. Like a heater. If you tried one of those. I don't want to show off too much, but I've got a heater in this shed studio where if you plug it in, it gets hot. An oil radiator, that converts electricity into temperature. And I don't even have to listen to dragon porn while I don't have to. Let's have a look. Joodle saying, apologies for the typo, it's very sunny over there. Of course it is, that's the problem. And I bet dragons sound like tortoises when they have sex. Yeah. But I bet you have to really step back at the moment of completion. Because, is it in Batman 2 or something? Or is it the Val Kilmer one where his cape is fireproof and there's a big gas explosion, he just covers himself? You'd have to do that, wouldn't you? I tell you what, though, it saves having to smoke after. It converts heat into electricity. Yeah, I do it the other way around, using turbines propelled by hot water. Well, each their own, isn't it? That may be no wonder she's listening to, in fact, dragons having fire means she's half on the topic of her job. She works for thermoelectric conversion, and the dragons can make heat out of their mouths. I'm defending her all the way to the hilt. Don't know why we spent longer on that than any other story. Yes, we do know why we spent longer on that. This one, and finally, Pizza Express is adding chicken wings and macaroni cheese to its delivery menu in response to a consumer demand. Normally, I don't cover these, which are clearly just placed in there to promote Pizza Express. But we kind of like Pizza Express because of the Andrew thing. But these stories I don't get. How do you have consumer demand for something that's not on your menu? Firstly, you don't. This story is utter bull. So that's probably it. But the other option is that people are getting into it. People are genuinely logging online going, oh, I'd love there to be macaroni and cheese from Pizza Express. Pizza Express. And then instead of just going, oh, it's not there, I'll send a letter. How do I message the boss of this operation? Why, dear Pizza Express, why do you not have macaroni and cheese sent slowly? It's as if I've missed something. Send. Cretins. So, listen, I think we're up to date. Charlotte, you need to go and get yourself some surgery or something. And Joodles, yes, I need to behave. What you been up to, Mr. Cuffs? I haven't written out me what's-ons, but we can still do it. If I can find my phone. Stay there. I'll cough while I'm at it. No, because it's worth mentioning. No, I do have some. I've also got some messages. What's going on with this? Steve, are you ready for an upgrade? Nope, I don't think so. I've got 2 new followers on Instagram. All right, but that's not what we're here for, is it? We're here to look at the diary. Today, not doing anything else after this. Tomorrow, Friday, 7 o'clock. On Talk TV, radio, whatever it's called, but I think it's mainly just on their YouTube thing. Plank of the Week. I'll be doing that. Saturday, I'm performing in Watford on the parade. Nope, can't work out where oh no, there's the Zoo nightclub. Christ on a bike, that's going to be fun. On Sunday, I'll be on Talk Radio but not in the studio with Mark from 6. Down the line, doing it from this studio. After 7, have a little chit-chat on something. Nice. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, one of these. All right, so it's not as busy as I thought. I'm glad we really dragged that out. Turns out maybe I'm not quite as successful career-wise as I thought. But other than that, you're fully up to date. Thank you very much for participating. If you'd like to go to kofi.com/Mr. Stephen Allen, throw some quids in that direction. It will all help because, yeah, hang on. Because this is ready to go. It's plugged in. I got the cable. I have not got the ability to do anything with it yet. But I'm having a chat with Gemini and knows what I'm doing. I've got to load in the samples. And then, oh, sweet baby, I can then be doing... Look at that. Look at the stain on that. Look at that. I can be... Ooh, this one. Ooh, that's the hot totty right there. Major 7th, but a minor chord. We will be doing some songs because I've learned how I can use the MIDI controller to tell the software what notes I should be singing and then autocorrect to the notes. I won't sound as bad. I'll sound like T-Pain, but you'd rather me be T-Pain than you be in pain, so my singing should improve. Was it? I think it was Hi-Ho Kermit who said you actually bought that as an adult, did you? How? Oh, wrong. How very dare thee? How very you can off the A. I don't know. That's A. You could I more of an idiot? You word. Hang on, I missed. Sorry, I accidentally dropped it. I think we've done them all. Oh, I did miss a spot. What are we talking about? I have no idea. What are we doing here? You bought this as an adult, said Kermit. Yeah, well, I didn't. It was given to me as a Christmas present like 13 years ago, and I've never got around to using it because I've never had an online streaming show where I do stupid songs. And somehow fates aligned. So yeah, it is in. And Gemini says actually it's pretty good as a MIDI trigger. So, plus also I do have a whole Casio one that works as well. If I'm playing music, I'll get it in here. But for now, this is where I'll do my composing. Don't mock the afflicted. Stop talking dirty to me. Are we talking about the old playing the things there? Zoo nightclub. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. And live and loose tomorrow. Jules, good point. Yes, let's. I don't think there's a reason why I can't. I think we should be up for another one of these. This is pretty live and loose as it is. And maybe I'll try and trim back the beard a little so I don't look like this much of a state. What do I get as a reward after my surgery? I don't know. A dong by the sounds of it. What was the surgery again? We don't know. You're having your tonsils tickled? What's Margarita Prakatan style? Oh, Clive James. That's what we're after, isn't it? And a tempting offer. What have I missed here? Plug and cough. You know what? That's a health test that I've not given myself yet. But I suppose while you're up on the ramps, why not? And I think we're fully done. We've got all the information out of today's news. At the very least, you've learnt about the tubes you use when doing standing waves in science. And that is information that I guarantee you will never use again. And the thing is, you won't remember it correctly either. So the only thing you'll remember is which word it sounds a bit like. And you'll just end up saying that word out loud. Oh no, this is turning into the David O'Doherty show. What, because of the little keyboard? Hey? Huh? That was a mood change, wasn't it? It will be up and running and we'll play songs next time. Whether we do them live, we don't do them live. Should we start doing them live? Right. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, which is tomorrow at 12, why not? Bye.
Here comes the news with a twist and a grin. Stephen Allen diving in again.
Britain is in the grip of a vomiting epidemic caused by nauseating TV adverts.
He'll hit your brain like a lightning spark. Stephen Allen,
on slavery.
almost daily.
Investigating
Laughs and facts, served up plainly. Your dose of wit is never shady. Stephen Allen, almost daily.
Why is there so much sand in here?